Hello everyone. Today, continuing from the previous energy talk, I'd like to talk about hydrogen. In the last talk, I explained the types of hydrogen and their characteristics, as well as issues that need to be solved in the production and in transportation of hydrogen. Today, I would like to talk about how green hydrogen is used. In other words, the issues on the demand side of hydrogen. Since hydrogen does not emit CO2 when burned, it is being considered for use as an alternative to fossil fuels. Thus, it will be used in fuel cell vehicles that run on fuel cells instead of gasoline, and in the thermal power plants as a fuel to replace coal and an oil. Please take a look at this diagram. To produce green hydrogen, green electricity generated from renewable energy and other sources is needed. Let us assume that we have 100 green electricity. When hydrogen is produced by electrolysis using this power, about 30% of the energy is lost and 70% energy remains as green hydrogen. When this hydrogen is converted back to electricity using a fuel cell, about half is lost in the process, leaving about 30 electrical energy, which is then used to drive the car. The performance of a fuel cell vehicle is exactly the same as a battery electric vehicle because both are driven by an electric motor. Both do not emit CO2 when driving. The difference that a large amount of hydrogen can be stored in the tank, and the fuel cell vehicle can travel 800 km on a single hydrogen refill. Electric vehicles that store electricity in their batteries can travel about 400 km on a full charge. With larger and improved batteries, recently, there are some electric vehicles that can run up to 700 km, but still the long driving range is the strength of fuel cell vehicles. However, a different perspective is possible when considering energy efficiency. If you store electricity in the battery and use it, 70 to 80% of the 100 available green electricity can be used by the electric vehicle. So there is more than double the difference here. Think about it. Green power is extremely valuable energy, especially for Japan. We are currently making various efforts to increase green power as a national goal. Under these circumstances, is it a wise choice to reduce that precious green power by half before driving? Fuel cell vehicles, which have exactly the same performance as battery electric vehicles, except for the driving range, consume more than double the amount of precious energy in exchange for the longer driving range. The same can be said for the use of hydrogen in thermal power generation. When green hydrogen is burned in the thermal power plant to generate electricity, the electrical energy is reduced by about half. So 100 electrical energy becomes 30 electrical energy. This is a waste of energy. But in the case of thermal power generation, the fuel is converted from fossil fuel to hydrogen, which has the advantage of zero CO2 emissions. Since green power is generated far away in Australia and the Middle East, it cannot be transmitted, which may mean sacrificing energy efficiency for zero CO2 emissions. In considering this, we can see that energy conversion from green electricity to hydrogen, then back to green electricity, is very wasteful. When we have obtained electricity that does not emit CO2, we should first make efforts to use it as electricity. Paradoxically, this is also why we need to promote electrification on the demand side. There is a plan to use surplus electricity from solar power generation to produce hydrogen. But as we discussed in the previous energy talks, the first solution should be to use that surplus electricity to run the EcoCute during the daytime to produce hot water. Hydrogen, which we discussed in this talk, has the wonderful advantage that it does not emit CO2 when it is burned. Therefore, it is an extremely promising energy to meet the heat demand of large capacity and high temperature ranges where electricity is not good at, and the decarbonization needs of large mobility vehicles such as heavy trucks, ships, and airplanes. Today, I have discussed challenges of hydrogen from both the supply and demand side. But there is no doubt that hydrogen is a necessary piece of the puzzle to achieve net zero carbon emissions. We must study this dream energy carefully and seek the best way to use it in order to achieve 2050 net zero goal. Stay curious about energy. Thank you very much.